You were sent here because it's an unbelievable gift. There's so many things going on. There's constant experiences. Do you know in the Hindu scriptures, the deep Upanishads, they say the devas, the gods and goddesses in heaven, want to come down to earth. That earth is the most growthful plane that there is in all of it. They long to come down here. Why? Well, you know why. Kind of hits your stuff, doesn't it? Right? In other words, you're not going to get what you want. You're going to have to deal with your stuff. Heaven, it's terrible. You get everything you want, you just never grow. You know, who wants to go to heaven? Ramadas once said, what's heaven? Another desire place. You can go there and get what you want. All right? A wise person wakes up and says, there's something wrong with me. I want to fix it. I don't want to compensate for it. I don't want to be distracted from it. I want to fix it. And so you start doing what's called working on yourself instead of working on everybody else. Christ said that. Don't worry about the splinter in somebody else's eye. Worry about the log in yours. And so you wake up and you realize, I got some work to do. And the work isn't on manipulating, controlling everybody else so they behave the way I need them to because I'm a sick person. Right? Don't talk about that. You know I don't like to talk about that. I told you not to talk about that. Go sleep on the couch. Okay, here we go. You hear me? All right? Instead, you sit there and say, how do you people say, well, how do I get okay? Well, it's very easy. You have to deal with what's wrong. You can't keep avoiding it. You can't keep trying to compensate for it. You have to literally deal with what's wrong. Well, how do I know what's wrong? You'll know. Don't worry about it. It's right in your, come up constantly in your face. Well, what do I do? In the simplest sense, here's spiritual growth. I woke up today, and I'm not done yet. I still got some stuff. I can tell why it's a mess in here. All right? Situations and circumstances are going to unfold in front of me. When? Every moment. Every moment. Okay? I'm going to go take a shower. There's some mildew in the shower curtain. It's a little too hot. The thing is loose. And oh my God, there's all kinds of stuff. Oh, it's very difficult, isn't it? Very difficult to live this life. Why? Because it hits your stuff. When it comes in, it's not neutral. Somehow it bothers you. Have you noticed life bothers you? Right? The driver in front of you, the temperature, the rain, the fact that the shirt doesn't fit anymore, or you got to run in your, I guess you don't get runs in your stockings anymore, but I'm old, all right? So whatever it is, your hair started turning gray. Come on, that's a good one, right? In other words, how many things bother you? Oh, that's so funny. I dare you to watch during the day. You understand that? Walk out here and take a quick look where you thought you left your shoes, and they're not there. Check out what's going on inside. Who took my shoes? What's going on? Oh, there they are. Everything bothers you. If it's humid out and you had your hair done and it starts getting a little frizzy, then only you would notice. It bothers you. Will you admit it? It bothers you. Things bother you. I told you, the one I really pick on is the driver in front of you. He's not driving exactly the way you would like that person to drive. They're driving 15 miles an hour below the speed limit. You know what I'm saying? Or they didn't use their blinker. How you doing? No, you're bothered. Don't minimize this. This is more important than meditation. This is the most important thing. If you're going to bother yourself about everything, what are you going to take 15 minutes and try to offset your whole day of bothering yourself? How about we learn to not bother ourselves? You are on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowheres. You're only going to be here for a few more years. Will you please get with the program? Will you please enjoy your life instead of bothering yourself about life? Why are you bothering yourself about everything? I told you why. Because I'm not okay, and I decided what will make me be okay, and that person driving 50 miles an hour over the speed limit in front of me is not helping with that. And the person not using their blinker, right, that was ridiculous. Of course they use their blinker. Really? You're going to bother yourself about everything, are you? And she's sitting too close to him. You know that. I don't like that. 6 inches at least. They're dancing too close. Come on. How many things bother you? Right? Hey, she's wearing the same blouse as I am. I thought mine was special. I bought it up in Italy, and oh my God, that's embarrassing. Okay. That sounds normal. That talk inside your head sounds normal to you. It's sick. right? You're sitting on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowhere, making yourself miserable. No, she made me miserable. She wore the same blouse. No, you are making yourself, life is not bothering you. Life is not bothering you. You are bothering yourself about life. Go bother yourself about the fact that Saturn has rings. I don't want Saturn to have rings. Okay, then you're bothered by Saturn's rings. But Saturn didn't do that. All right, you did that. That's true of everything. Well, I married him, but I didn't know that he had this kind of a habit. I didn't know he does this. I didn't know that, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, what? I don't understand. So he sleepwalks, all right? So it's like, so he leaves the toilet seat up, all right? So he doesn't do this or that, or she doesn't do this or that, right? It's just an event in the universe. But it bothers me. No, you're bothering yourself about that. And if you keep bothering yourself, you're not going to like the person. And it seems perfectly rational to you. It's not rational. And so eventually, and I hope it's now, you wake up and realize, I'm sitting on a planet with a minimum amount of time between my birth and my death, and I'm being given the gift of experiences. And each of these experiences, they either come in like the sunset and touch me to the core of my being, and I honor it and respect it and grow. I'm a better person because I saw that sunset. It changed me. And I'm that way about every single moment of my life. See your jaw drop. Every moment is just like the sunset. Whatever it is, I grew from that situation. It fed me. I learned. I became more open. All right? You can't do that. Why? Because it hit your stuff. Not because of the situation. All right? It's because it hit your stuff. So it comes in, you try to play tennis, hit into the net every time, and people are watching. Okay? Oh, they just happen to be there. Don't believe me, they're not watching. All right? But they're there, and you have a terrible experience. It was the worst experience I ever had. I'm never going to a tennis court again. It was embarrassing. It was ridiculous. I couldn't get the ball over the net even once. I was so sorry I ever went. Wow, congratulations. You just ruined your life. All right? Versus, wow, I had no idea what tennis was like. Or I really respect now the players I saw on my TV once, right? How good they really are. It's not even easy to get the ball over the net, right? And you just had a good time and you learned, right? And I hope sometime I can go back and see if I can get better, right? And like, which way you want to be about all of life. Yeah, we were in love and it was an amazing experience. It felt like we were going to live our whole life together. It lasted 3 days, right? And then I went through this divorce, right? And it was amazing how you could love somebody so much. And now there's not so much love during the divorce, right? It's just amazing. What an experience. Oh my God. I can't wait. If I get another relationship, I'm going to do better. Just like I'm going to be better at tennis when I go back the second time. Not, I'll never marry again. You can honor and respect every single experience that you have. There are not good and bad experiences. There are just experiences. And if you're open to them, you grow from them, you learn from them. And that's the meaning of your life. Now you understand the meaning of life. That when you leave, you're a higher being than who came down. Period. There's a saying, Earth is a place where souls are sent to evolve. I love it. I read it in the 70s in the Theosophical Society somewhere, right? Earth is a place where souls are sent to evolve. That's the meaning of life. How are you doing? Because what you've defined is Earth is a place where you try to get what you need in order to be okay and avoid what you don't want so you don't get worse, right? Well, that doesn't sound like you're evolving. That sounds like you're trying to purposely not evolve. Don't talk to me like that. Don't do that. I don't like that. Oh, do that more. I like that, right? In other words, I don't want to evolve. I want to stay how I am, okay? I want to stay how I am, and I want you all to match me every moment. All right. That's the difference between a worldly life, where you're out there trying to build your life in the world, and a spiritual life where your work is inside. You don't deny the world. You don't renounce the world. It's your friend. Why? It's hitting your stuff. It's what you're learning. It's your teacher. It is your teacher. Why? Because every event in front of you has to come into you. And when it comes in, it ain't so clean, is it? Because it hits stuff inside. So your spiritual path, people say, well, Mickey, you don't teach. People used to say that when they read The Untethered Soul. There's no spiritual practices in here. It's That's all it is a spiritual practice, all right? It's like, yes, I'm not telling you to meditate and do this and mantras and breathe inside out one nostril and another. But they're wonderful things, by the way. They're very useful things, right? What I'm sitting there saying is, come out here. You woke up in the morning. Are you willing to grow? That's what it says. Untethered soul. Are you willing to untether yourself? It has nothing to do with life. Every one of you has just the right life that you need in order to go to God. Period. Yes, exactly the right life. And every moment that's unfolding in front of you is exactly what you need in that moment to rise you spiritually. That's how perfect everything is. But it doesn't look like that, does it? It doesn't look like that because I'm not getting what I want. Because you define the darn thing wrong. You define the meaning of life as getting what you want and avoiding what you don't want. Can I make it by without too much pain? And can I get some joy once in a while? Right? That's not the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to get rid of the reason you're not okay. Now, why am I not okay? Why do I have to do all this? Why can't I just be happy? That's when the garden, when you're in the garden, before you fell out of the garden, the fall from the garden, you hear me? What it's trying to portray is you're always okay. You're always okay. You're always in ecstasy. You don't have to do a single thing to get it. There's no work. There's no nothing. It's just, whoa, unbelievable every moment. All right? That's what it means to return to the garden. You can return to the garden, period. Well, why am I not? Because you did the following thing. It's very important to hear this. You were experiencing God. You were experiencing life. It was coming in. It was touching you. But then something happened that when it came in, it wasn't comfortable. Nobody says, it'll be comfortable. It comes in. It's yin to yang. You feel everything. Some vibrations are nicer than others. Some sounds are nicer than others. But they're still just sounds. They're just vibrations in the universe. Okay, fine. So when it comes in, it feels a little awkward. But then it goes. Yes or no? Didn't everything come and go in your entire life? Nothing has ever stayed. It doesn't stay for a moment. No electrons ever in the same place. It's all comes and goes. The problem is when it wasn't comfortable, this is called the evolution of the soul. When it came in and the vibration wasn't comfortable, whatever it was, a rattlesnake, a divorce, let's say simple, a rattlesnake, a sound, a color, that just came in and vibrated wrong. Didn't feel comfortable when it came in. So what? It's like hitting a tennis ball into the net. Yes, we go through lots of experiences. That doesn't mean you never play tennis again. So it comes in and you let it go. There, that's the spiritual technique. Let it come and go. But if you can't handle it, and that's the question of the evolution of the soul, Earth is a place where souls are sent to evolve. I mean, souls evolve. I thought souls were perfect. They are perfect, but they fell from the garden. Why? Because they got too involved in the vibrations they like and the vibrations they don't like. Instead of just letting it come and go, they sat there and said, I don't like this. I don't like this when it comes into me. Therefore, I don't want it coming into me. I don't like what it feels like, so I don't want it to happen. That very statement, right? I don't like what that color looked like. It shouldn't be there. Who are you? You didn't make the color. You didn't create the universe. Well, you just let it come and go. Don't worry, it's coming and go. No, I don't like it. Therefore, it shouldn't have happened. Wow. So what do? You resist the experience. You can't resist the actual event because it took place. It actually happened. The person said what they said. The color was what it was. Don't worry. If you didn't experience it, you won't resist it. Anybody got that? Right? You had to experience it first. Now you're going to resist the experience. I hope you're listening to me. That is why you're not okay. That is every single thing. You're there. You're experiencing creation as it was made. It's unbelievable. It's constantly changing. You're growing. It's the most perfect experience. It's God. That's all. All right? It's just God. It's so high. And it just comes in and you're growing and you're growing and you're growing and you're growing, right? But then an experience happens that you're not comfortable with. And instead of, okay, this is neat. There's an experience I'm comfortable with. Let it go, right? You said, I don't want it to have happened. It should not have happened. And I'm not going to experience this. And you suppressed it. You pushed it away inside and it got stuck inside of you. You listened to me. I swear to you, this is what happened, okay? And you pushed it away. Where did it go? It got stuck inside of you. What got stuck? The energy of the experience, the whole pattern, the colors, the sound, the taste, the feelings, everything. You pushed it. It's called a samskara. That's what they call it in the ancient scriptures, thousands of years ago in yoga, all right? And you pushed it away and you held it there. Well, so what? At least I didn't have to experience it. You did experience it. You just didn't let it go. Now it stays inside of you. Now when something outside reminds you of it, Even though it isn't happening, you feel bad. You feel scared. I had a bad relationship. I don't want to deal with anybody ever more. And no, you had a bad relationship. You learn from it, and whatever happens next. You're an open being. You're clear. It's what the Buddhists mean by empty mind. But you didn't have an empty mind. Why? Because you stored this stuff that bothered you inside your mind. So now you have a bothered mind. And I swear to you, how many times have you done that? How about 700 billion? Right? Do you understand that psychology tells you that if your sister got the red bicycle when you wanted the red bicycle when you were 6, right, then you don't like your sister so much. And you don't go on bike rides, even though you're 30. And she had the nerve to invite you. You want to go on a bike ride, Sally? What is with you? I'm telling you, you laugh all you want. You will feel yick. Why? Because it is still in there. The fact that you didn't let that go and that you couldn't handle the experience, you pushed it in there. If you get divorced from somebody named Ben, right? It's 10 years later. You're in Switzerland. All of a sudden at a party, Ben, your heart goes like this. Yes or no? Right. Why? Because you stored that inside of you. You never really got divorced. You got divorced outside, not inside. So if you store these problems inside of you, your inside is not going to be a nice place to live. And you have stored lots of that stuff in there. So one, it's in there bubbling up, trying to release. It's always trying to release. So it keeps coming up in your dreams. It comes up in your thoughts. So now you're afraid of everything, or now you're just whatever it is, okay? If they were good experiences, you didn't let them go because you wanted to keep them. If they were bad experiences, you didn't let them go. You didn't want to experience them. Well, what's wrong with good experiences? Nothing. Enjoy the experience, but don't try to keep it. Otherwise, you won't enjoy the other experiences because you wished it was that one. Go to a restaurant that you had the finest time out. You dated somebody and it was perfect and this and the food was perfect and the waiter and waitress was, oh my God, and they had specials, vegan. There was a vegan night. Oh my God, everything was so unbelievable. Don't go back. And you know what I mean. Because when you bring her back there and you're sitting there and it's not the same waiter and they're not the same specials and not playing the same music and it's more crowded than it was and there's somebody outside smoking every time the door opens up, it comes in. Your mind, because you held on to the good experience, you want that exact experience to happen again. And anything that deviates from it makes it be a bad experience. And you do that with people too. You used to open the door for me. This is the essence of why it's not okay inside. Because you made it not be okay inside. You made it where you collected what I like and what I don't like, and then the world comes in, and next thing you know, you don't like stuff, and oh my God, you carry it around. So basically, now you know, the cat out of the bag, why it's not okay in there. Because you made it not okay in there. You did it. God didn't do it. You can return to okay. How? By getting rid of that stuff. You gotta get rid of the stuff. How? A minute left. Ready? Here's your techniques. 1, don't put any more in. What's the purpose of doing all this work, going to therapy, doing this stuff, working it through, if you're going to put more in every day? All right? And you do put more in every single day. If Sally doesn't say hello when you walk by, hey, Sally, she doesn't turn around, right? Next time you see Sally, you're uncomfortable. And you might not even say hello. You don't say hello again because it was uncomfortable, and I don't want to have to feel that again. Tiny little things. Hear me? Start working with these tiny little things. Let them go. I am begging you. That's where your work is. This is more important than your meditations. All right? This is your foundational work, which is stop putting stuff in there. Let the situations unfold as much as possible. Just relax through them. Just be committed to not storing it. Yes, it didn't feel good. You poor little girl. You can talk to her. You have a baby in there. All right? Just when it's said and done, I want it gone. Let it go. Offer it up. Do whatever you want. There's lots of techniques, but don't let anything ever again get stored in there. All right? You can use affirmation, you can use mantra, you can use positive thinking. There's so many, that's what all your techniques are. Now, once you don't put more in there, what you're going to find out is what's in there comes up by itself. It doesn't even need a stimulus. Just all of a sudden you're driving the car and you start crying. There's all of a sudden this thing about what happened with your sister with the bicycle from 20 years ago. Let it go. What do I do? I need to call my sister? No, you can, but no, believe me, it doesn't usually work out when you call your sister. You call your sister saying, God, I had this epiphany and I saw it and I was crying. She says, what bike? What are you talking about? You don't remember? This was such a, I don't know what you're talking. Oh, that hurts. Don't you dare think that anybody out there is as sick as you are in the same way you are, right? Do you hear me? Surely you've had that experience, okay? Let go. Just keep letting go. Relax and release. Just relax through it. But it's not comfortable when it comes up. Of course it's not. It wasn't comfortable when you stored it, right? It's not going to be comfortable when it comes up. But you can handle it. Practice, practice, practice. Practice letting go. Practice handling things. And as you do, the bigger stuff will come up, you let it go. And then bigger stuff will come, you let it go. And all of a sudden, you're going to find out that you're much happier than you used to be. You're not carrying all this garbage inside of you that you're afraid that it'll get hit. All of a sudden, I love real growth when somebody comes to me and says, I was at work and I was working, the boss came in, he said this, and I went and worked with him and so on. When I was driving home, I thought, if that had happened a year ago, I would have freaked out. I didn't even notice. There was nothing happened inside of me because he criticized me or because he told me to do something I didn't want to do. It was just, okay, we'll do that. That's spiritual growth when you're cleaner inside. And what's going to happen at some point, I guarantee you, you do this every moment, every second. You make this the meaning of your life. That's why I started with, what's the meaning of your life? This is the meaning of your life. Get clean. Clean it up in there. And so at one point, all of a sudden, you're going to come and sit there and say, I don't understand it. It's not that I'm doing better and don't get bothered by things, but I feel this joy. I just feel this spontaneous joy going on inside of me, right? It's like these waves of joy. It just comes up and rises up, right? And it's just, whoa, it's called Shakti. It's called spirit. It's called whatever you want, all right? It's a beautiful energy flow that was always inside of you, but you were blocking it with all this stuff. As you cleanse that stuff out, it goes more and more until it's always there. You're being fed from inside. Man does not live by bread alone, meaning the outside, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father. That's Christ. All right? That's what you'll start feeling. And you'll start living off of that. And that becomes your entire spiritual path. Once that starts flowing, you just relax into it. It's more beautiful. It's more beautiful than your intimate moments. It's more beautiful than, everybody being proud of you. It's actually the beauty you feel in those intimate moments because you opened up. Everything you ever felt that was beautiful in this world, the sunset, the lover, whatever it is, was because you opened and let some of your stuff out of the way so you could feel yourself. When you're really in love, your eyes are not open. You're not looking at somebody. You fall back into yourself. You hear me? That's what you're experiencing. You should feel that all the time. And don't sell so short. All the time. That should be flowing inside of you, feeding you, sustaining you, period. Then you rest back more and more, and now you go into the great yogic states, where at some point, somebody actually wrote me, I read it this morning, and said she was experiencing all this, and then it was like something inside said, turn around. And when she turned around, it's like the whole universe opened up. Why? Because behind you, you were created in the image of God. Now we could talk about God. Right? Your consciousness is a ray of light of the sun. It's the same. There's no difference. When Christ said, my Father and I are one, it's the same for you. But when you come back into that Shakti enough, then you turn around. Instead of looking down, instead of feeling it from behind, you turn around. That's where the masters went. That's where the great states are of the merger. Remember, Baba said, my consciousness was a drop of water. It fell into the ocean. Find it. You will never find it. You merged. What does yoga mean? Merger. The word in Sanskrit, the word yoga means merger. Now you see the path? That's all I could do to give you. Do you see the path? Right? Don't ever say you don't see it. And don't ever say it was not fair and it's somebody else's fault and I don't have time to meditate. No. Every second of your life, you have an opportunity to go to God by letting go of this garbage that you built inside yourself that says I can only be okay if you all are the way I want you to be. Because there's 7.5 billion of you out there. That's a lot of work. All right. You work on these things, right? Remember we started? You're born, you're going to die. It's a little more meaningful, isn't it? Does it sound a little more meaningful to do in between? And it doesn't matter if you haven't done it, right? The minute you start, it's over. Doesn't matter what age you are. Don't think you wasted your life. Nope. If you ever get to the point that this is what you're doing, you did not waste your life. You had a perfect life. Jagrata.